How are we doing, guys? Can you hear me? As ever, once you guys can hear me, then we will begin, and I'll try and catch up with the madness that is the last two nights, but in particular the last evening that we've just had here. The two games, of course, between Chelsea and Porto and Bayern Munich versus PSG. Madness. You can hear me. We can hear you. Bobby Turner, thank you very much. Right, let's do it. Okay. Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. I hope you guys are doing very well. I hope you've just enjoyed two enthralling games. For those of you who don't know, basically BT Sport have got both games and you can watch them both simultaneously, so that's why I'm able to do that with both. And I'm going to be honest, in this video I'm going to have to catch my breath a bit because again, it was a bit like yesterday. There was one game that was like absolutely insane, and then the other game was just like war of attrition a little bit. I think we're going to talk about Chelsea, Porto first, then we're going to dive into that Bayern Munich PSG game, which was absolutely fascinating. Before we get into the video, guys, do me a massive favour and subscribe to the channel. You can see over my right hand shoulder, we're on 102k now, but the aim was 100k, which we've done, but we've still got time. 28th of April. I want to absolutely smash it. So if you want me to do more of these lives, the nice way of saying thank you is to hit the subscribe button and, of course, hit the like button as well. Can we get as many likes as possible on this bad boy? It would be wonderful if you were willing to do so. It will take you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and sleep. No, I'm joking. Right, let's get into it. Another thing to say, guys, if you have any super chats or you want to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all my thoughts and then I'll read all the super chats, anyone who's kind enough who fancies doing it, at the end, okay? So don't worry if you've done a super chat and I'm still talking. We'll get into that at the end of this video. Let's get into the lineups and let's talk about Porto versus Chelsea, the first game in this one. And let me know as we're going along. I want to know your thoughts on who played well, who played badly, who your man of the match was in the live chat for everyone watching right now, which is great. For Porto, you can see Grujic had to come in, you know, the Liverpool loanee, and of course they were missing Oliveira and Taribi. For Chelsea, they went back to the 3-4-3. I was surprised Thiago Silva didn't play in this. He did come on for them. Also, Kante didn't start in this game, which I thought was quite interesting. They went with the sort of false nine approach, playing Havertz there with Werner and Mount. And for Porto, they played with the 4-4-2, but they pressed quite a lot. I was really surprised by how much they pressed. I want to talk about the goal. I want to talk about just how well Chelsea managed this game, actually. This was really smart. It was a really nice, ugly away win for Chelsea. They worked really, really hard. And I think the stats say a hell of a lot in this game. So I'm going to go to the stats now. So check this out. Because I think and I'll show you the average positions. I'm going to show you for both games. I'm going to show you the average positions and what they kind of said about both games. But for Chelsea, Porto in particular, I've just gone blank. The average positions was really important in this one because although they had the ball possession, 60% of the ball in this game, you can see that Porto had a real go, didn't they? They gave a really good account of themselves, and I've got to say, like, the bottom line on this one is that second goal is an absolute killer for Porto. I think if Porto get out of that game without Oliveira and Taremi in this game, then they're delighted at 1-0. But that second goal is a massive kick in the stomach. They've got to be absolutely devastated with it. But yeah, 60% possession to Chelsea. But despite that, there was a lot of pressing sort of high up. And then there was this sort of second sort of lower mid-block that Porto were kind of utilising. Main players for Porto, I've got to say, because I haven't watched much of them, Otavio was absolutely fantastic for Porto and a massive part of everything that they did in this game. I don't know if these passing stats, I presume they were right up there. Yeah, four key passes in this game, more than anyone else. Well, there you go, double anyone else. He was the real fulcrum for them. And I think the big thing that highlights it is that what Chelsea were trying to do was control the game and use the width of the pitch, which I'll show you in a second. And that's shown by the amount of touches and the accurate passes by Chelsea. Look, the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in terms of touches and keeping the ball. They were quite happy to do that. And again, you can see that in the average position, as I'll show you in a second. But Otavio was fantastic for Porto. It was almost just like he was just kind of doing it all on his own. I think that was the problem for him. to the tactics side of it, I'm going to talk about the goal in a second, but what you can see here is Porto in blue, Chelsea in the orange we've gone for here, is that actually Chelsea were playing... So first of all, Porto were playing really sort of narrow in terms of how they were pressing and how they were trying to attack. And the reason they were doing that is because Chelsea were kind of doing the opposite. It was quite interesting to see how they played. If you look at Chelsea here, you've got a front four, Reece James right up here, which is you wouldn't normally expect, but it was because Chelsea were looking to use the width of the pitch as much as possible. There you go, I can see it better there. They were trying to use the width of the pitch as much as possible to try and create these sort of side alleys and these spaces in between the lines, so that that the likes of Mason Mount, and that's how they got their goal, would get their goal, so they could isolate the back four, because they were playing a back four. But you could see how adventurous Porto were in this game, because you've got Pepe here. You've got that four attacking players, Marega, I think Grujic might be in that as well, Karomo, who had a poor game, and Otavia, looking to work together and isolate the kind of the midfield two of Chelsea. And they got a decent amount of joy in the first 30 minutes of the game. After that, I've got to say, overall, due to Chelsea's, I guess, man management from Tuchel, but also the kind of dogged defending of Azpilicueta, I thought was fantastic in this game. Christensen had a really good game, and the whole back three really, but those two in particular. It was really set pieces that were going to kind of get Porto back in the game, and that's why I would say it's a real shame that they they conceded that second goal. Chelsea, like I said, using the width of the pitch. Look how wide these midfield three are. They're keeping the ball, moving it along, and then also how kind of deep they were. It's because Porto were driving them back with their press, but also Chelsea, I don't think were in that much of a rush. They wanted to use the width of the pitch to isolate the two fours that Chelsea had. The two fours that Porto had. And to be honest, it was more like this. It was more of a 4-5-1. Want to talk about the goal, because Mason Mount, when you watch this goal back, what's going to be a shame is that you're not going to be able to see the sort of few sort of 30 seconds before Mason Mount does what he does. Because Mason Mount, who was here, Jorginho passes the ball to him. And what's so brilliant by Tuchel in this game is that if you play Giroud as that target man, I'm not sure Mount's in that kind of space. You might have Werner in that space, but I don't think Mount's in that space, because you've got that central player. Because Havertz was dropping a bit deeper quite often, it allowed Mount and Werner to get forward a little bit more and play in this area here. This area sort of to the side of the centre-backs, which, I mean, they didn't get that much joy with it, to be honest. But the goal came from exactly that. It was them moving from the left-hand side over to the right-hand side. Jorginho plays that pass to Mount. And Mount, with his head on a swivel, because I watched it back, he's looking and he knows it's completely premeditated what he does. And it's absolutely fantastic. Look, to be able to do a Cruyff turn with his left foot there, instead of what normally people do, they look to move their body and go that way. But because the pass is on this side of him, for him to be able to make that one touch quickly allows him to get the ball forward quickly, in on goal, and then he smashes home the goal. And I tell you what, it's so good. It's so intelligent from Mount. It's absolutely brilliant. And he's just growing and growing. And I think that maybe he's not even growing. It's just his intelligence is just dialing up time by time. He's got this, you could see that he's got this bigger picture of the game, and it's just above a lot of players in world football at the moment. He's in really, really good fine form, but he's doing smart things at smart times, and that's where that goal comes from. Him being able to, Tuchel with the setup, with Havertz being dropping deeper, allowing those two to play in those areas, but Mount as well, just being so clever. But Porto did play well. I mean, someone's saying there, were Porto robbed? I wouldn't say they were robbed. I think they just lacked quality. Marega sort of huffed and puffed, but didn't really do anything for them. Grujic, I think, sort of came in and did well. Diaz didn't really do too much either for them. But defensively, I think it was a real triumph for Chelsea in this one. I think, and again, I think my man of the match. I'd love to know your man of the match. Say it now, guys. Let me know what you think. But from those defensive stats, when you look at the block shots, I thought Reece James had a really good game, both forward, going forward and defensively, because they did have to defend quite deep, as those average positions show. But I thought Azpilicueta was really great. 3 block shots there. There was a couple of really big moments where he had to kind of step in and shepherd things and was put under a little pressure on that right-hand side. I just thought he did really, really well for the team there. And I think aerial duels, that's the other one I wanted to highlight, was Christensen, who did his, was very diligent with his work in this game, because that was the thing. I thought Porto could hurt them with set pieces. They're not that dominant, Chelsea, in the air with the team that they've got and the midfielders that they've got. Bar the 3 centre-backs or 2 centre-backs and Azpilicueta, who's really, a bit more of a right-back. They haven't got much height, really. That bit of height is, say, someone like Havertz in this game, who's not, he's not that kind of going to put his head where it hurts kind of player. So for Christensen to do what he did was great. And I just thought Chelsea were steady. They weren't brilliant, but they got the job done. I don't think there's much more you can say for me apart from that. Actually, that's a good point as well. I think Mendy deserves a shout out as well. I thought he was really good with the saves that he made. I don't know if there's any stats on this. There you go, 5 saves from him. Did well. Two claims from crosses as well, just to help with those set pieces as well. And also there was that cross, wasn't there, from the corner? I think that might have been Otavia as well. He was able to keep that out as well. So no, he did do well, but I think you can see it here. That it did to and fro this game. Finally, the Chilwell goal, which again I think is just really good reading of the play. That second one, not too much you can say, just a great individual goal. And again, I think that highlights that Tuchel, who got it really wrong in the game against West Brom, in my opinion. I think he did the opposite in this one. I think he got it absolutely spot on. And Reece James and Chilwell could have played Alonso instead, but he played Chilwell and got his rewards from that. Really, really smart. Rudiger played well as well. I thought he did all right. But I just thought Azpilicueta was really impressive in this one. That just those big moments where you're like, oh, okay, there he is, and there he is once again. That's why I've gone with Azpilicueta in this one. Let's read a couple of the super chats for this first half, and then we'll do the second. Sam J. Rory said he doesn't like banana sandwiches. I mean, that's okay. That's his prerogative. And I think we've got another one as well, but thank you for the super chat, mate. And James Berry just kindly giving a super chat. Thank you, James. That's very, very kind. Right, let's get on to the chaos. That is this game. The Bayern Munich game. Wow. I mean, let's start with those lineups once again. Not Porto, Bayern Munich. Here it is. So, Boateng not playing this. Alphonso Davies, who came on really quickly after Marquinhos got injured. And there were so many injuries in this game for both teams, really. Goretzka got injured at one point as well and had to come off. No Lewandowski, obviously, so Choupo-Moting played up front. For PSG, Neymar played, it was more Draxler on the left-hand side. Neymar kind of through the middle and Mbappe further forward. But again, so many injuries for PSG that they had to shuffle the pack. And this game, as crazy as it was, I still don't think we know the truth because, one, Lewandowski's not playing down one end, but I think PSG, and Bayern didn't play badly, but PSG looked, a lot worse once Marquinhos went off the pitch after he scored the second goal. And that was a massive, massive loss for them. The game itself was just absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. Like, I couldn't believe it, to be honest. Like, and again, we often when it comes to sort of shots on target and things like that, you don't want to concentrate on that too much. But I think you've got to say that this does tell a story, because if we look at the stats on this one, it really does tell a story, because it highlights it's the dominance of one team, but the ability to counter of the other, and the world-class quality of Mbappe up top, that means that despite having 63% possession and 31 shots to 6 shots, they lose the game 3-2. It's amazing. 15 corner kicks to 1. That's crazy. It was just mad. It's just completely mad, this game, from end to end. 31 shots, 12 shots on target. And the game, in terms of the goals, if I can try and keep up with them, I might have to have a little look here. I think it was, so Mbappe after 2 minutes. Was and actually, it was someone Kimmich was unbelievable in this game, right? Ran this game from start to finish. But unfortunately, it was his fault to a point for the goal, because you know how Bayern play. You've got to be kind of switched on. And actually, as much as it was Kimmich's fault for the first goal, it's actually down to Neymar as well. His work rate in that moment, I know 3 minutes in, but he dispossessed Kimmich, and then once he got the ball back, Kimmich didn't track his runner in Neymar, and that's how they kind of found themselves, getting the ball to Mbappe scoring that goal. Manuel Neuer will be really disappointed with the goal, and Mbappe's shot. I think he was expecting it to go straight into the corner, but it didn't. So it kind of went halfway between the two, and so he was able to get it through. It wasn't actually a very good finish for the first goal. The second goal, though, blew me away a little bit in terms of how they set up for it. I was really surprised by it. And actually, the first goal, I'm maybe getting ahead of myself a little bit, but actually, let's do it. The first goal is, the second goal, you've got all these players coming out from a cross, and then the ball gets to Neymar over here. And if you watch it back, Sörler, and I think the other centre-back as well, Alaba, all of them, basically. It's almost like they're so drilled in pressing up, getting up, doing all those things. They literally weren't even looking. So the cross then comes in, Marquinhos with some really smart movement. He's got other players like Mbappe on his way out and he's offside, but Marquinhos is smart with his run and makes that run, and it's a great touch and a great finish for him. And then all of a sudden, Bayern Munich are 2-0 down. That said, once that happened, Marquinhos then got injured and the game kind of turned on its head. But the bottom line of it was crosses versus counter-attacking, because Marquinhos had to go off, Danilo had to go centre-back, Herrera came on and did okay, I guess, but it was complete dominance from Bayern Munich in this game. And again, the counter-attacking of it, these are the average positions from the first half, which highlights the dominance of Bayern Munich. You see how far up they are in this game, up the pitch, but also just the opportunity that is there for PSG at any moment in time, But the thing is, I think in previous games, or if you don't have Neymar on the pitch, one ball's not going to do it. One ball's not enough. But the amount of times that PSG were nearly through on goal due to 2 passes, 3 passes, because Mbappe doesn't even need to stand on the last defender. And this is after some of the substitutions had happened. So Boateng's playing now. Alphonso Davies came on. As soon as Marquinhos got injured, Alphonso Davies came on, and they really, really went to town on them. And you can see it actually with just how fluent they are in terms of using the pitch but creating overloads. There's 2 here. First of all, Koeman and Davies on this left-hand side. But again, you see the same with Sané and Pavard. They kind of work as a 2. With Koeman, he stays a little bit wider, but he's still willing to kind of make those inside runs to allow the overload there. But really, Sané, I felt needed to be a lot more selfish in this game for me. There was a lot of times where, the ball's about to make its way into the box and he just hasn't got that killer instinct a lot of the time. But generally his movement's nice. And Pavard, who was able to get a few shots off as well, they did get a lot of joy down both sides. But Kimmich, you can see he's right up here with Müller and Choupo-Moting. He absolutely ran the game apart from that, that mistake in that first minute. It was crazy. But the point I wanted to make with this is that despite all those stats, despite the possession, despite the shots, look at this space here. This is such a dangerous, when you've got Mbappe and then you've got all this space to play with. It's just, to have this space here is very dangerous. And it's not something that they can get around because it's how Bayern Munich play. But what happened for the first goal and for the last goal is that Neymar was able to get the ball in this area. And having him there, and then also having him being able to, one of the greatest players in the world, to be able to find another one of the greatest players in the world means that you've always got a chance with PSG. They've always got a chance. And the next game is going to be absolutely fascinating because I think they'll continue to... It's a bit like the Barcelona game, which you did on this channel as well. You have your 4, they'll box it off there and try to defend for their lives. They defended incredibly deep in this game and they were hanging on at times. But at the same time, as much as there was that dominance, they were 2 passes away from scoring a goal all the time. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing to watch this game. In terms of the stats, I almost want to catch up on it myself, because in terms of the player statistics, I think the one thing to highlight here is what Bayern Munich looked to do was try and get as many crosses in as possible, and you saw that with Choupo-Moting being able to get a cracking header, and the same with Müller as well. I think Danilo struggled with that, and Pembe looked to kind of be that leader of the two once Marquinhos came off, but I think they zoned in on Danilo, and twice he was kind of undone for 2 of the goals, the Müller goal and the Choupo-Moting goal. But I just wanted to show you the passing stats, because it was just crazy. First of all, Joshua Kimmich, this is mad. 115 touches. Utter dominance of this football match. Crazy, right? Absolutely crazy, right? And how many people? We've got 1,660 people watching right now. If you're enjoying if you're enjoying the video and the stats, and you feel like you're getting something from the video, please do me a favor. Please subscribe to the channel, and please hit the like button as well, because that means tomorrow morning people will be served this video, which I would love. It always helps. So we have 1,669 people. That's amazing. So please do hit the like button and consider hitting the notification bell, because I'll be doing lives next week as well. 115 touches, absolutely insane. Again, here you can see with this, what's the best way of looking at it? Sorry, here we go. That's a better way of looking at it. Again, you can see the dominance here on the graph here, but the touches and the key passes. Look at the key passes. I can't deal with it. 10 key passes. 22 crosses he put in. Ridiculous. And it's because of that, I mean, he is my man in the match almost despite everything that happened. I know Mbappe scores those 2. Actually, it's tough. I say, well, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Kimmich or Mbappe? Who is your man of the match in this game? Because it's a really tough call. I think with stats like that, I'm struggling to not give it to 3 big chances created, 10 key passes. You've got to give it to Kimmich, despite what happened and him making a mistake. I mean, just madness. I think, look, the final thing, and I'll get to your super chats in just a second now. So if anyone does want to ask a question, it's a 50-50 split when it comes to the the man of the match. Sorry. This game, if you like football, you have to watch this second leg. There are two games you need to watch next week. You've got to watch Real Madrid, Liverpool, just to see if Liverpool can do it. But more importantly, you have to watch this game next week, because what I said in my prediction video was both Man City and Bayern Munich, but in particular Bayern Munich, I can't see them not scoring 4 goals out of the 2 in the 2 legs. And because of that, I still can't see them not going through, because the XG in this game, and I wrote it down, Kai, shout out to Kai, sent it to me, 4.14 XG for Bayern in this game. So they should have scored 4 goals, according to XG. PSG, 1.54. Now, the styles of this make that slightly redundant, because we know it's about, football's about possession versus space. But that in itself is just fascinating to watch. And it's the dominance of Bayern should come through in the end. It should do. It should do. But will it? That's the beauty of the Champions League, man. That is the beauty of this tournament, because you've got the best players in the world playing very different styles. Saw it with Porto and Chelsea, but more so in this, of course. And it's up for grabs, because you've got someone like Mbappe who can do what he can do. And more importantly, and it will get forgotten because the goals were given to Mbappe, that quality from Neymar. That quality from Neymar in that position that we were talking about. It's so integral. Him there. Instead, because Draxler was crap. Let's be honest. Draxler was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't know how he's still playing for PSG. But it's on. It's on. Must watch game. Let me read any questions or super chats that we have, and then we'll make our way. Thanks for watching, guys. I really, really appreciate it, by the way. Will Allen Smith, thank you, mate. Love the analysis. Managed to win a bet, so I thought I'd share the love. Mate, my guy. Wonderful night of football. It really was. It really was a wonderful night of football. I think that's it, right? Any other questions? Doesn't look like it. It's not a crab, it's crap. So Chelsea are 3 up. I don't know what you mean. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will be back next week with more of these lives. I'm going to be doing loads of these lives after a lot of the big games. Whenever I'm in, I'll be doing them as much as possible. So if you want to see more of these, hit the notification bell. Everyone who's subscribed right now makes a massive difference and helps the videos do better. As you know, let's continue to smash our target. So subscribe, hit the like button, let me know your man of the match in the comments below, and I'll see you guys soon. Sorry, my throat's really killing me. I don't want to miss anything. Referee. I mean, it's always the referee's fault, isn't it? Yeah. All right, guys.